You took a what kind of dragon are you BuzzFeed quiz back in middle school, and you decided to make that your entire personality to this day. You haven't emotionally developed since you were 13. It's not that you're afraid of talking to women, but more that they're afraid of you. You really like Unlimited Blade Works. You really like Strange Fake. Not the light novel or the manga, but the 1 hour TV special. You really liked Extra. You either spend your every waking hour making shitty 4chan green texts, or you're a financially stable adult. You are the most power bottom to have ever power bottomed, or you're aggressively a top. You've either only watched Babylonia. That's pretty much it. That's your only exposure to this character. You're definitely a power bottom, but let's be honest, you're more drawn to him because of the unnecessary belt straps everywhere. Zack Snyder is your favorite film director. You need subtitles turned on whenever you watch any kind of movie, show, YouTube video, literally anything. You are the definition of it's not the size that matters, it's the motion of the ocean, and your sail is broken. You somehow always manage to get off with the minimum sentence for your multitude of crimes. Look at me. Look at me in my eyes. Stop it. Stop it. You are in dire need of therapy. You are also in dire need of therapy, but for drastically different reasons. You are in dire need of a horse trank. The only thing stronger than your addiction to purchasing Warhammer 40k models is your addiction to crack. You are an unapologetic asshole, and I personally love you for it. You either really liked case files or you have a daddy kink. You are the epitome of a switch. You are the personification of it isn't the size of the dog in the fight, but the size of the fight in the dog. 50-50 on whether you beat up your friends with Nerf swords growing up. You've been told multiple times that you have Peter Parker type riz, and you still don't know what that means. You definitely have a poetry book that you've been regularly updating since you first discovered Tumblr. You're a theater major who works at your local coffee shop that isn't quite downtown, but it's close enough. You're definitely a fan of consensual non-consent. You really liked JJ the Jet Plane growing up. What the hell is that chanting? You have a passing familiarity with several nerdcore subjects, but you always stop before you get too far into them because of your crippling ADHD. You spend way too much time on Reddit. You definitely tried to sleep with the frat president, but when he said no, you somehow ended up with the liaison. You are so aggressively kinky that it physically damages you to think of anything even remotely vanilla. You are a furry. This isn't a roast, it's just an observation. You only recently learned what phonics were. You are either a League of Legends player or you're a furry. You're that one dude who sat in the back of the class that nobody really had a problem with because everyone just kind of forgot that you were there. You're that one dude who sat in the middle of the class that nobody really had a problem with because you were just really damn entertaining. You definitely sold jewels to kids in middle school. The only thing more basic than your taste in men is your taste in music. No, putting I love Taylor Swift in your Tinder profile does not count as a personality trait. You would fuck anything with a pulse. You're a big fan of the Cybertruck. And you really missed the flashing X sign above old Twitter. You have only watched 2 anime, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood and Horimiya, for some reason. You have a comp sci degree. You used that to try to get a startup off the ground, but then you failed, so now you're working at your local coffee shop while you're also trying to start a side career as a Twitch streamer. It is not going well. You either really like Five Finger Death Punch, or you really like the movie Split. Your tastes are somehow even more basic than Diarmuid fans, but everybody's afraid of calling you out on that because they all secretly agree that you're kinda right. Your tastes are so extremely basic that nobody even tries to pretend that they disagree because you are objectively right. You're the kind of guy that never reciprocates head during sex. You own a motorcycle, and you made that your entire personality. You ran over my dog, and I will never forgive you for it. What the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck is wrong with you? You either really like Tsukihime or you really, really, really liked Heathers. There is no in between. You're neither a top nor a power bottom, but you are sexually attracted to pure unadulterated. You totally have a girlfriend, but she just doesn't go to the school, trust me. Haha, she's real, haha. You claim to have a black belt in like 3 different obscure martial arts, but in reality, you're just kind of okay at Street Fighter. You are the personification of, yeah, you can got me a homework, just change it up so that nobody notices. You're that one dude who sat in the back of the class that nobody really had a problem with, because anybody that tried to bully you ended up getting bullied by the bigger bullies who swore to protect you at all costs. You definitely almost flunked out of school. Then you learned that the shop classes exist. You abuse your partner. This isn't a joke, it's an intervention. Please seek help. Fate Zero is your favorite anime. but it's not because of any of the cool fight scenes or any of the neat direction or any of that stuff. It's entirely because of the implied gay relationship between Iskandar and Waver. Fate Zero is your favorite anime, but it's not because of any of the cool directing or fun animation stuff. It's because you thought Kiritsugu was cool and you completely missed the subtext about him being an actual f***ing hypocrite. You either watched way too much hentai or you unironically did the Naruto run in high school. Or both. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is your favorite anime. You want a partner that's somewhere in your age range, ideally someone who's either in or just got out of a toxic relationship. What is that chanting? You took one creative writing class in high school and thought that was enough qualification for you to try to write a poetry book. You stopped after 3 haikus. Your love of himbos is only rivaled by your love of the sun. You didn't realize that every dish being a rice dish was a poor people thing until the TikTok era. You always went to prom in a friend group because you were either too afraid or too late to ask him or her out. It's not too late, you will find someone. You made it your life's mission to remind everybody that Leonardo decided to spawn in as a woman because he was just a little bit queer IRL. Despite my preconceived notions, you do in fact exist, and there are more than a dozen of you. Some would say you're a sub, but we both know that you're more of a power bottom. Some would say that you're a power bottom, but we both know that you're more of a power bottom. You probably have daddy issues. You definitely have daddy issues. You are an avid Dark Souls fan and you decided to turn that into your entire personality. You really enjoyed the enemies to lovers trope. Your Spotify on repeat playlist is just Linkin Park, Bring Me the Horizon, I Prevail, and Marvin Gaye. For some reason. What the fuck? Either way, what the fuck? You say that you're alt, but in reality you just went to one rave, got bored, and politely fucked off to make out with the 4th hottest dude with an eyesight. Your love of being as vanilla as humanly possible is only rivaled by your audacious love of basic white men! Your favorite D&D character was your half-elf barbarian who died soloing Tiamat. 50-50 on whether you like him ironically or if you're actually racist. On second thought, let's turn that into a 2080. You're a condescending prick, but like, in an endearing way? Somehow? You did one cool thing in high school and made it your legacy up until your sophomore year of college. You have serious daddy issues. You watched Attack on Titan in middle school and it awoke something very primal deep within your soul. Not lust, competition, and drive. You don't especially love enemies to lovers or lovers to enemies, but you do really enjoy the dynamic of a one-sided hatred taken to its illogical extreme. You are a furry. This isn't a roast, it's just an observation. You say that you're kinky, but really the furthest you're willing to go is fuzzy handcuffs. You're a little bit more than fuzzy handcuffs, but not by a lot. You peaked in your high school jazz band. You're most likely your pastor's daughter. Whether that makes you a patron saint or a complete deviant is roughly a 50-50. You're the awkward third wheel in a throuple. You're so cool and epic and hot and awesome and sexy, and I swear I'm not biased. Your love of being in a happy and healthy relationship is rivaled only by your love of the Blue Eyes White Dragon. You know what? Saying you're a Taylor Swift fan in your Tinder bio might be more of a personality than whatever hell you got going on now. You have a very special toy collection that alarms anybody within a 25-mile radius. Twink enjoyer. Derogatory. You're a very big fan of a certain queer British musical genius. No, the other one. See Shang Yu, but even more alarming. You don't just have daddy issues, you have an entire generation's worth of familial trauma. Much like the Chiyomi fans, the dozens of you made your presence known and confirmed to me that you do in fact exist. I need to contain one of you to study you for science. You're so easy to please, it's a genuine feat of science that you're still a virgin. You're the quiet one in public, but you and I both know what happens behind closed doors. You were a nursing major, but then you dropped out once you realized that you can make more money selling feet pics on OnlyFans. Your 3 favorite movies of all time are the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Battle Royale, and checks notes, the Lizzie McGuire movie. Pop off, queen. You are in a wildly unhealthy relationship and are in dire need of therapy. You probably exist, but I really wish you didn't. You are pansexual. Now stay away from my kitchenware. You definitely cheated on every test you've ever taken, and you now make 6 figures, and I personally hate you for it. You're still mad at yourself for letting the one that got away get away. Your favorite holomem is Fubuki because drowning your unhealthy parasocial emotions in best friend memes is at least funnier than therapy. Your favorite manga of all time is Namae Kizakari and Gundam. You made it very clear to me that I was incorrect about the Canis joke in the last video, and your desire to actually is only rivaled by your hatred of hate crimes. You do play Warhammer, you do miss the Emperor TTS, and you are sexually attracted to half-baked memes about I just got back the results from your mental health checkup, and you ain't beating these allegations. Devil May Cry is your favorite video game, and you definitely main Virgil in Marvel 3. You watched Ori Emo, and unironically gave it a 9 out of 10. When asked, would you fuck yourself? Your answer is how many of me? You are so aggressively submissive, it actively weirds out everybody within a 50-mile radius. You aren't real. You are never real. You cannot convince me that you are real. You are based. Why? Because he's so hot. Your God-given mission in life is to remind everybody that Kichi Hogan is gender fluid. You are based. Why? Because he's so hot. And the proper human history version is like 26, so shut the fuck up. You very much like low-key manipulative men because honestly your own head is trying to sabotage you way worse than anything anybody else could say about you in your general direction. Outro text. Devil Man Cry is your... Devil Man Cry.